like, go clean your room or go in your room. And it's like, well, why? We couldn't say anything. There was nothing that we could say. And like, we don't really realize it, but sometimes I think growing up, like, we weren't allowed to actually feel or express.
Right.
You know, so when we grow up and it's like, we just got all that shit built up inside of us and it comes off like rah, rah, rah. When it's really like, I just never could really say anything as a kid. So like,
and now I'm releasing it. So now the release comes off as monumental intensity. You know what I mean?
I agree but disagree. That's weird.
Speak it.
I'm ready to. Yeah, I understand. It does make sense, you know, that as a kid you can't say why, you know. At the same time, if you really think about it, while I'm making an honest statement, I thought about it, and for me, it prepared me for the world, because you go to work and your boss tell you to do something, you're not gonna sit there and ask your boss why. But your boss don't love you like mama did, or daddy did, or grandma, whoever raised you. So in certain ways, those small lessons when you have to not speak and just take and accept were preparing us for later in life, because there are times that we cannot speak, that we cannot do anything. We just have to let our actions be our words.
I agree, but I disagree.
Okay.
The professional world and home life, those are two different settings, two different dynamics.
True.
And when children are at home, they should be able to, and I'm speaking as a parent now, like times are totally different from as they were before. But like now these children are built different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're seeing a lot more than we ever saw when we were kids. So like some things they need to be able to open up and express at home, because if not, such and such gonna show them a whole different way, perspective, and then we gonna be like, well, damn.
Right. And it's worse to learn that from the peers as opposed to learning that information from the parents.
Okay, so I agree on that one. You know, because I'm a parent also, I'm a father also. So me telling my son to do something, I don't want to hear anything back from him, because this is not up for discussion. I didn't ask you nothing.
But at the same time, that kind of goes with the see and not be heard, as far as, you know, the old school way that we were brought up. Like, do what I say, don't say anything back, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so what needs to be said if I'm telling my child to get up and go clean their room? What needs to be said, honestly?
So let's not say it's something like that. Let's say it's something, you know, a little bit more like in depth. Like, okay, they're trying to tell you something that another kid at school did, and they want to get an understanding for it, or something like that. Like, well, mom, like my friend told me that she was able to go out on a date, or you know, with such and such, but like, why is it that I can't do that? You know what I'm saying? And growing up the way I was raised, you ain't going with nobody, you ain't going to nobody's house, you ain't spending night at nobody's house, period. But this generation is different. Yeah. We have to be a little bit more open to say, okay, you can go. I'm gonna be with you. I'll let you guys roam and be free. But we have to be a little bit different than how our parents, how we were raised.
You are right, because the parents these days, for instance, that parent that you're talking about was the one that went on that date when she was young. So she was brought up differently.
Maybe not.
If she was able to go out on that date at that age, she was brought up differently than you and my sister. Y'all wasn't able to go out on that. I wasn't able to go out on that day. You know? So that's why we treat our kids the way we treat them, because it worked for us. It showed us something. You know? Those kids who experience things early, they get into a lot more trouble earlier.
Back that up. I was very sheltered. I was not able to do anything. But when I got older, and it made me rebel. Rebel. And the more they tried to shelter me, the more I tried to break those chains and do the opposite of what I was told to do. So every moment of free time that I was able to get, I'm gone. I'm ducking off. I am. Yeah. So like, it just depends on the character of the child.
It depends on the character of that child and the character of that child's parents and what that child's parents went through as a child, because everything that you were protected from, or possibly protected from, is what possibly your parents went through when they were younger, and then want you to feel the same way they did.
But also, in addition to that, I feel that growing up, we were a part of a generation to where the parents did not do a lot of explanatory teaching.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It was more of a do as I say, make it happen right now, no talking back. Whereas in this generation, I'm learning as a parent that it is better to openly communicate and discuss things with my child, because I don't want to be the parent to just tell them I said no just because I said no. No, I want to be able to explain no to this because of the effects of this, or because of this situation that you could be potentially walking into. You know what I mean?